If you've clicked through to watching this video and you have yet to see my breakdown on the new Marker Plus and the new reMarkable Paper Pro, then you should click the links down at the top of the video description to check those out first. But if you're still here, then today we're diving into the all-new reMarkable Paper Pro Type Folio case. Much like the new and improved Marker Plus, there's some differences in this new Type Folio case that are big steps up, and there's a bunch of other changes that are pretty minor changes, but all of it comes together in a really nice package. So let's jump into it. First, we've got to talk about what is still the same, and just like with the original Type Folio, this new one for the Paper Pro has the same great key travel, 1.3 millimeter of travel distance. I think I've said it before, but if not, I will say it again. I really do believe that the reMarkable Type Folio keyboard is one of the best feeling and most tactile mobile keyboards I've ever used before. The keys are very satisfying and they feel great to type away on, even if you're typing a long piece of content. This is the device to do it on. I've tried the iPad Pro keyboard. I have a MacBook Air, and I've formerly had a MacBook Pro with the old style keyboard. And yeah, this one absolutely takes the cake for mobile keyboard use. So this Type Folio features the same magnetic connection system and multiple typing position angles. So just about everybody can find the right screen angle to type at. And the hinge is just as sturdy as the first version. So you've got more than enough support to pick up your Marker or Marker Plus and write, highlight, shade, press against the screen while it's in the landscape orientation with the keyboard installed. The case will not collapse beneath you, which is great. And like I said, there's not a ton of brand new features, but those few new features plus the improvements that reMarkable has made to this version of the Type Folio combined go a long way to making this product really a big step up from the first iteration. First, let's dive into the new features. So this might be the biggest new feature on the new Type Folio, and that is the keyboard, because it is now backlit. Now, of course, the reMarkable Paper Pro now has that backlit display, so it makes total sense for reMarkable to have included a backlit keyboard on this version of the Type Folio. Now, the backlighting is not all that bright. However, just like the display on the Paper Pro, which also does not get all that bright, it is bright enough to get the job done in dark or dimly lit environments without a problem. I also think they did a really nice job integrating this backlight control into the reMarkable Paper Pro software. So as soon as the keyboard is connected, you can toggle down by swiping at the top right corner of the screen, and you can access both backlight settings for the keyboard and the Paper Pro side by side, set their brightness on, off, high to low. There's 5 steps of brightness for both of them. Next, there's a brand new button on this Type Folio keyboard that wasn't there on the one for the reMarkable 2, and that is the Refine key. This is essentially a quick toggle that allows you to use the Marker or Marker Plus to move your cursor around your document quickly. Then you can select, move, edit, bold, etc. your text without having to toggle over in the toolbar to change tools from the typing tool to one of the marker tools. Now, this is not going to necessarily be world-changing for everyone, although I think some more novice users, less power users, so to speak, will find this helpful. On my old reMarkable 2 Type Folio case, I basically was just able to get around this limitation and used the arrow keys, which are built into both versions of the Type Folio case, to move within the document to where I needed to be to make a change. And then I would use the Shift key and move the arrows to select. And then once the text is selected, the software prompts you for cut, copy, paste, bold, italic, underline, etc. Anyway, so you get all that formatting there. Not everybody is going to find use for this tool, but it does make it a little bit quicker. And for those of you who maybe are able to type and hold the marker in your hand at the same time, then this is just a little bit more flexibility that's going to give you more control and enable some power user functions. Lastly, we'll talk about the case in a bit more detail in a second, but there is something brand new on the case itself, which is very welcome, and that is the magnetic latch for the Marker or Marker Plus on the outside. On the old reMarkable 2 Type Folio, the marker just magnetically secured to the side when not in use, but I don't know about you, I found that when putting it into bags especially, this would happen. The marker tip would get caught on something and the marker would just pop off. Now, it wasn't the end of the world with the reMarkable 2, but now in the Paper Pro, with that marker needing to be charged, this is a much bigger deal. In this case, it just solves that problem. And it's also present on the new Folio cases as well, not the Type Folio, but just the normal Folio cases. So yeah, this is a total no-brainer. It works extremely well. And the magnets in this latch are actually really strong. I find that I have to exert a fair amount of force to remove the latch from the back of the case before you can wrap it around to secure the marker in place. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but if you're like me and you don't have nails to dig in under the edge of the latch, you might have a little bit of trouble getting used to how strong that magnet is and using it for the first couple times. But despite that, great addition. Absolutely love that they finally took the step to do this. All right, so that is all the new features. Like I said, there's not a ton of them, but they are all pretty good improvements. They all add up to make it better than it used to be. So now let's just talk about the parts that have been improved versus the old reMarkable 2 type folio case. Like I said before, let's start with the case itself. The old reMarkable 2 type folio came in a black or brown artificial leather material. This new one comes in a basalt finish, which is made of recycled mosaic weave. Personally, I think the new material in the finish is really quite sharp. It kind of comes off as having a little bit of a purpley undertone to it, which, although it's not necessarily my favorite color, looks quite nice. And it's very minimalist, and again, has that incredibly strong magnetic latch for the marker or marker plus, which is a huge bonus. Now, naturally, the case is now larger because the Paper Pro is larger than the reMarkable 2, and that means that reMarkable was able to add a palm rest to the bottom of the type folio. So if you have smaller hands, this is going to be great. You're going to be able to rest your hands on the type folio case itself while you're typing away. But unfortunately for people with larger hands like myself, you're still not going to be able to take advantage of this. It's just not enough additional space. However, I will make a prediction right now. If they ever make a 13-inch version of the Paper Pro or the reMarkable, call it V3, whatever they're going to call the next version, that larger type folio case they'll have to ship on that larger device will finally have enough palm room for fellow large hand users like myself to rest on it comfortably. Until then, large hand users will just have to keep resting their hands on the table like I do. But again, smaller hands, you're going to really be in for a treat because the material on the type folio case is quite nice and it's quite comfortable to rest your palm on. And again, with that larger case size means bigger keys, and these keys are simply lovely. As I said, great tactility, great travel, just like before, but now it's just more natural and ergonomically friendly. You're able to do a lot less clawing, and you can simply type more naturally because of the expanded size of that keyboard. If you're transitioning from something like the 13-inch iPad Pro keyboard, or you're using a MacBook, MacBook Air, MacBook Pro keyboard, it's just a far more natural transition from your other mobile devices to the reMarkable Paper Pro. Again, definitely one of the best mobile typing experiences you can find out there. And that is pretty much it. Obviously, this new type folio case is slightly heavier because it does have that backlighting in there now, and it's larger overall. And like I said, in just about every single way, this new type folio case for the reMarkable Paper Pro is a step up and is definitely better. There is one little thing that I want to talk about, which might not have bothered you. It might not bother you at all, but for me, I feel like it's a miss that it was removed from this version of the type folio. And that is that on the old reMarkable 2 type folio case, there is a sort of notch on both sides of the case when connected to the reMarkable tablet. And these notches gave you sort of an indication where to lift up or apply force in order to unfold the reMarkable and put it back into portrait so you can write on it fully and hide the keyboard again. On this new type folio case though, those notches are gone. And because there's nothing to sort of guide my hands when trying to collapse the case again, I just find myself kind of getting lost on the side and having to finagle around a little bit to find the right spot to collapse the case. Again, this is probably not going to affect everybody, but for somebody with muscle memory from using the reMarkable keyboard for so long, I think this is going to trip you up as well. Not saying it's a bad thing or that the hinge doesn't work or that the case doesn't work properly. It does. This is just a very minor change, which I think they could have avoided doing, that would have avoided what is probably a little bit of a user experience misstep, in my opinion. But that is it. That is all of the new features and all of the improvements on the reMarkable Paper Pro's type folio case. It is approximately 70 Canadian dollars more expensive than the old type folio case, but again, there's a lot of new features and technology and benefits in this version, which, in my opinion, do justify that price increase. But what do you guys think? Are you a fan of the Type Folio case? Do you have one for your reMarkable 2 or your Paper Pro? Or are you interested in it and now are thinking about making the jump and buying the case? As always, let's have a conversation down in the comments below about it. Thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you again soon in the next one.